Hi everybody, happy Monday. It's your friend Ryan Rolfe with the DSM Sold team at Keller Williams Legacy Group here in Des Moines in Central Iowa. It's the first day of fall officially, and it's time for Monday Market Update. So let's talk about what is happening in the real estate space, shall we? All right, so if you've watched the news, paid attention to anything in the real estate space, you probably heard that the Federal Reserve lowered their benchmark rate by 1/4 point. What does that mean for interest rates? Well, not necessarily all that much, because the Federal Reserve rate and mortgage interest rates aren't directly tied together. However, it does mean something for mortgage interest rates because when the Fed does lower its benchmark rate, the market tends to react. And since mortgage-backed securities are partially what controls the interest rate for home mortgages, the market did react unfavorably, pushing mortgage rates up a little bit from where we had seen them. They had been coming down, down, down if you had been watching. So we're still seeing the lowest rates that we've seen all year, which is great. And right now, if you're looking in Central Iowa, you're probably looking at around somewhere around 6% for conventional loans, and FHA, VA, other government-backed loans are around 5.5% range. I'm guessing as the weeks go on, we may see rates continue to come down as the reaction from the Fed lowering their rate as things calm down from that. We tend to see speculation before that Federal Reserve makes their decision, which can either lead rates up or down. In this case, it did bring rates down some. And then the Fed had their meeting, made their decision, which drove interest rates slightly back up. So we'll see what happens there, and if that continues in the upward trajectory or the downward trajectory. Locally, the average home listing price is around $339,900, which is about 6.5% lower than last year. Inventory is staying pretty steady at a little over 4,200 homes. We're just at about 4,300 homes actually, which we haven't seen that in over a decade. It's been about 12 years since we were at the same number of homes for sale actively as we currently have. So there's a lot more options out there if you're a buyer, and rates are looking more favorable. You've got more buying power than you have had at other points of this year. So it may be a good time to be out there looking if you're thinking about buying. Nationally, so if you look at Iowa or Central Iowa versus the national, we tend to have lower interest rates slightly than what we'll see nationally. So nationally, interest rates, the 30-year fixed rate is about around 6.26%, which is the lowest year to date nationally as well, which gives buyers a lot more purchasing power, as I mentioned. If we looked back to January, you could have bought a home with a $2,000 a month principal and interest payment. That's not including taxes and insurance. Your budget would have been $299,000 or around there in January. Now that same $2,000 a month mortgage principal and interest payment would get you $324,480 a month, or I guess in a purchase price rather, $324,480 if you wanted to stay within that $2,000 a month principal and interest payment. Again, that doesn't include property taxes and insurance. Year over year, list prices are down by about $23,000, which increases affordability for buyers. And because of lower rates, lower list prices, and more inventory, it's a very favorable time for buyers. If you're listening to this as a seller, you're probably like, oh my goodness, I missed the mark, right? Well, and that's not the case, because guess what? The price that you can get for your home is still probably a lot more than what you could have gotten 5, 6, 8 years ago. Because over time, our homes appreciate. And if you're buying a home too, and you're saying, well, my home's worth less now, so I can't buy as much of a home. Well, guess what? Those rates are lower. So that may mean, hey, you can still sell your home, sell it quickly, and get the home that you want. And with the rates being lower, it may end up being a wash versus, yeah, maybe you could get $20,000 more earlier this year, but you would also be paying more in interest rates. So what's the trade-off cost there? May sound like a lot of money, and yet at the end of the day, your home as a seller, with that, it's leading to them selling quicker. They are selling potentially closer to that list number if they're priced right, presented well, and marketed appropriately, which means you're able to get your home sold quicker and get into that next home. The pace is strong. We got from 9,000 to 10,000 closed sales in about 23 days compared to last year, which was 27 days. So we're overall right now, if you're looking at sales pace compared to this year versus last year, 464 homes ahead of sales last year. And we may actually break a record that we haven't broken in a couple years, which is getting to 14,000 closed sales before year end. So overall, it looks like because of declining mortgage rates, falling list prices, high inventory, and accelerating sales, we may have a strong fourth quarter and a potential milestone record of that 14,000 closed sales, whereas we've been in the 13,000 range the past 3 years since COVID. So that all being said, this weekend we saw 163 new homes come on the market. 96 homes went into pending or under contract status, and 139 homes sold and closed. So if you've got questions about what this might mean for you, if you're thinking about buying or you're thinking about selling, feel free to reach out. Always happy to answer any of those questions. And as always, if you don't know where we're getting this data, this comes from Simply Des Moines Stats, which is put together by Les Solgrove, who is the MLS director of No Coast MLS and a former agent with Via Group Realtors. So thank you, Les, as always, for the great data and sharing your insights with us local Central Iowa agents. We certainly appreciate that. And for all of you out there, if you've got questions on what this might mean for you, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to answer any questions, whether you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or just really wanting to get a better idea of what all of this means for you in today's market. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!